Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to day 14 of 30 Days of Sketches. Today's sketch is created by Stacy Doner Tewari. The last name is Tewari. And I really like this sketch because it's got 3 small photos and I love working with smaller photos. And I think these are great photos for kind of like some supporting material for our cruise. It is a photo looking up at the underside of the water slides. Yep, those are water slides on this big old ship. And there were 3 water slides and then 2 dry slides. I'll be documenting the dry slides later, but these were the actual water slides. And I actually really was looking forward to writing these, and I didn't get around to it the first couple of days. And then by the time I, even thought about it, Sandy had written them and she was not feeling so great. So, yeah, I kind of thought, I probably would regret it if I had to ride home on a long flight with a sore back or whatever. And I do have an old back injury that that sometimes does act up. So I was like, I think I'm just going to pass. But I definitely wanted to document them, and I did document the fact that I chose not to write them for that reason. But it was something that I had been looking forward to doing, but I thought better of it, and probably in the long run it was the better decision to make, not be a little crazy. And and everybody definitely has different experiences. I know Joni, she had a very different experience than Sandy, and felt like it was going so slow she had to actually push herself down the slide or something to that effect. I think, I don't know if it has to do with their water pressure or what. Maybe it was 2 different rides because of the water pressure being different or something. I'm not really sure. But I just err to the side of caution when it comes to injuring my back, because I knew I didn't want to come home on that long flight with a back injury and then have to go to work with a back injury, trying to take care of children. That was just not going to happen. So, but they looked really cool and they looked like all kinds of fun. There are definitely, I think, 3 different kind of levels of slides, because one of them had a very mild drop compared to the other 2. It was kind of like there was the fast slide, the medium slide, and the slow slide, is what it looked like. But you could tell by the drop in elevation of the corkscrews on them. And so, yeah, I just decided not to do it. And then I didn't do the dry slide either. MK and a bunch of the other gals did. I stood at the bottom and took pictures of them. That day I was having a lot of sinus issues, and my head was I already had a sinus headache, and my equilibrium was not what it should be. And so I was like, I'm not even going to push it. And in fact, I took their pictures and then I went and laid down and rested until it was time for our next class. So boy, I sound like a party pooper, you guys. Okay. I'm not really. I did go swim with the dolphins. I did snorkeling. I'll do all the in the water stuff. No problem. I just was not, I just wasn't feeling it. But, the slides were really cool, and this ship has so much to offer. Besides that, they had a carousel and they had zip lining and a place you could learn to surf. It's called Flow Rider or something to that effect. I actually never made it even up to that level. They had an ice skating rink on board. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. I did enjoy the hot tub, and on one of the days, and we went and saw the ice skating show, which I'll probably document that later, but I decided to forego the slides. Okay, enough about that. I am using more of that corrugated paper, which I am really enjoying. This, a lot of the layouts in the class had corrugated paper on them as well, strips similar to this. And so I am just kind of duplicating that in different areas where I can, to just have a bit of continuity throughout the layouts and throughout the album. And I'm really liking the way that looks. If you don't like a lot of dimension in your album and the corrugated paper is too much, you can actually roll a brayer over it and flatten it out so you still get that look, but you don't have quite as much of the dimension. And sometimes I do that and sometimes I don't. It just depends on the day. I am inking everything up with a little bit of pumice stone ink, which is kind of a grayish color, gray brown. And I'm really liking how that looks. Now the background papers that I cut into the 3 strips there, those are actually from Kjpargeter, and they're really old. Been in my stash for quite a while. They are from the Morning Dew collection. And I'm looking at one of the papers right now. It does not have a date on it. But yeah, they've been in my stash for quite some time. I just thought that kind of turquoisey color matched well. It's a little more moody than the turquoise that's actually in the Simple Stories collection, which has that I've been using throughout this layout. And that one has it's a little bit more vibrant, but I like the moodiness of this, which when I say moody, it's got a little bit more gray in it, but there is quite a bit of gray still in that Kjpargeter collection. So I'm not Kjpargeter, Simple Stories collection. The Simple Stories collection that we used for our kits was mostly based off of the Simple Vintage Coastal collection, although that's not the only papers that were in there. We did bundle up several other papers as well. So I also found that this Heidi Swap Sun Chaser goes very well with this particular collection. So I pulled in some Sun Chaser, and then that little ticket strip is actually from Pretty Little Studio. And it was in with my Sun-Kissed collection from Pretty Little Studio that we used for Kit Conspiracy last November. So anytime I'm seeing things that are like these coral and minty green colors, which a lot of collections seem to have in it, I'm kind of like just setting them aside so I make sure I have plenty of stuff to kind of go with this album and to tie it all together. So I did find a bunch of little bits and pieces of cutoffs that I had, and I decided to cut those up and make them into a banner. I didn't even fishtail all of them. Some of them just have like a 45-degree angle cut on them, and I'm totally okay with that. I think they look really cute. I'm really liking the way that this is all coming together, and I did ink all of those up with more of that pumice stone ink. Now I do have a little package of acrylic and wood from MK over at her shop, some assemblage required. I've got a starfish, a sand dollar, and kind of a clamshell. I think there might be something else that came in this pack as well that I've already used, but I've had it for a while and I don't remember what it is, but I'll put a link to it down below so that you can find it on her website if that's something of interest to you. Now I did pull in some jute as well, and normally I tuck my ribbon or twine or whatever I'm using at the top of my banners. I kind of tuck it behind the banner, but in this case I decided to go ahead and string it along the top of the banner because none of my banner pieces kind of lined up perfectly or anything like that. So I thought this would just kind of like add to the texture, and I really like how it looks. I just used some of my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive and my reverse tweezers here to kind of hold it in place while the glue kind of set up, and that way I didn't kind of mess it up when I move it around. And then I decided just to let that jute hang down the way it is. I am going to add a little bit of glue to that to make it stay so it doesn't get caught on the page protector when I put it in my album. Now I did have one more of these banner flag thingies left over, so I'm tucking it in down below here so that I can bring that same pattern into this little cluster here, and going to go ahead and do my journaling in that little spot there, and you will actually see the journaling at the very end of this video. I don't make you sit through all of it because it's doesn't make for very interesting viewing or anything, but you'll see it on the close-ups that there is some journaling there. And I did pop my banner up onto a little bit of foam as well, because with the corrugated paper there, I felt like it needed that added dimension. And I really like the way that it came out. Now I wasn't really sure, I've got 3 pieces here, and I wasn't really sure how to put them up here on the banner without having the third one look kind of funky. So I end up tucking the the sand dollar in underneath the banners. And I really like the way that it ends up looking. So they're not all super visible at the end of the day, but it is there. And a lot of times that's kind of what makes the layout, is the layers that you put in. And the fact that you can't see everything is totally okay. Your eye just kind of takes it in as a whole, and it looks finished and complete. And that's what I kind of like about it. So these little puffy stickers are from Pink Fresh Studio, and I've had them in my stash for a long time. I'm just going to use them to say ride a slide. And then I'm going to talk about my decision not to ride the slide down in the journaling area. I am just working on getting these centered how I want them. I kind of started from the left hand edge and the right hand edge and worked my way in towards the center, and then kind of once I got the A where I wanted it, I just went ahead and centered it, or moved everything over a little bit. They don't stick great. I mean, they stick fine, but they're easy enough to pick up and move over without leaving a sticky residue. So it was not a big deal to move them around and get them where I wanted them. You can see I'm still kind of figuring out where I want that sand dollar, and there I've tucked it in underneath where the starfish is, and I really like how that looks. That is pretty much it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Any questions or comments you might have, you can stick those down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Any interaction that you guys leave really makes a huge difference to me. So thanks so much. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.